Good afternoon. Welcome to 10 TV Plus. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud, and it is time now to start you off here with a quick time lapse here this morning. And we'll go back in time and actually go back to this because I want to show you how this morning we had lots of cloud cover. But then look at this as we head through the later morning hours. We'll stop it here at 8 o'clock. We did get some sunshine out there for at least a short while earlier today. If you had not got the chance to look at that moon this morning, get ready for tonight because we have the full wolf moon in full action tonight. 5:26 p.m. is the official full moon. Should be pretty spectacular to look at. I'm hopeful that we can get some clearing so that you can get a look at it here, but it should be pretty amazing out there in the night sky as we head into tonight. Our first quarter moon was actually last week, a week ago from today. Today is the official full moon. Next week will be the third quarter moon, and then our new moon will be at the end of the month by January the 29th. So at that point in time, we won't have any light pollution whatsoever from that moon out there in the night sky. Quick check right now on how we are doing so far in the month of January. And take a look at this. Surprisingly, city of Columbus, we actually have a snowfall surplus by about 1/2 foot. It's hard to even think about that, but it's true. Now, the average temperature for the month is about 23.1 degrees. When we say average, what does that mean? Well, that means that for the last 13 days, when you look at the high temperature every day, you look at the low temperature, you add it up and divide by 13. That is the average temperature for the month. So we're about 7 degrees below that for the month of January. The coldest morning, though, was last week on January the 10th. That was on Friday in Columbus. It was 9 degrees in the morning. Wind chills were close to 0. It's about to get a whole lot colder as we head into the next couple of days. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have wind chills down around 0 for 3 consecutive days in a row. Just make sure to bundle up out there as the cold is going to be staying with us here. And the coldest day will be Wednesday morning. Wind chills actually below 0 by that point in time. And you know, if the cold doesn't get to you, frozen pipes could be a real possibility. Each night this week, you want to let the water drip, drip, drip to prevent those pipes from freezing, because that is not something that you want to wake you up here at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've been there, done that. It's not a good time, so make sure to go ahead and cover up those pipes. Why so cold? So it all has to do with the Arctic region here. And again, we're talking about the jet stream. Jet stream is essentially a band of fast-moving air up high in the atmosphere. What is happening from Tuesday to Thursday is that this cold air is going to be leaking into Ohio. So there's your jet stream right there. And look how far down to the south it'll be later on this week. By around Wednesday morning, it's all the way down towards the Tennessee River Valley. So that cold air has no barrier. It's got no brick wall to really prevent it. So it's going to be pushing down towards the lower 48 rather. And you're going to be feeling that here heading into the next few days. Morning temperatures, the worst will be on Wednesday at 4 degrees, wind chills below 0. And then a little bit of a thaw as we head into Saturday and Sunday, as morning temperatures will actually be climbing above freezing for the first time in a long time. So when you wake up on Wednesday morning, take a look at this. Coshocton, -1. As we head off to Caldwell, -5. Cambridge, -2. And then as we head down to Circleville, -4. So you got to bundle up. We're talking dressing in layers, no exposed skin, because frostbite can set in pretty quickly when it is that cold out there. And as we head towards 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, even when the sun gets up, it is still going to be downright frigid out there. 3 is what it will feel like here at 8 o'clock in the morning. And even as we head into the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, looking at temperatures finally in around 10 degrees here heading into the early afternoon. At least we get rid of the single digits as we head towards the second half of the day. Now, next few days, keeping the chill around. Take a look at this right here, though. By Friday, going into Saturday, we finally warm things up. We have a thaw coming this weekend, and then just in time for another plunge of that cold Arctic air as we head into Sunday and Monday. One of the concerns about the temperatures here when it's cold and then it warms back up and then it gets cold again is potholes, okay? During the summertime, crews are able to kind of smooth them out and repave over them. What is happening, though, is that because we're going to be freezing and then re-thawing, I'm definitely concerned about potholes. How do these form? Well, it all has to do with, of course, you get precipitation. So you could have melting snow, you could have rain, you could have ice, you could have sleet or anything, any kind of moisture what happens is that there's little crevices here in the roadways. Think of the road kind of like a sponge, okay? It absorbs that moisture. What happens when it gets cold? As that moisture goes into the road, it freezes as we get these cold nights, and ice expands. If you ever put a water bottle in the freezer, what happens if you leave it in overnight? The bottle expands. Sometimes it can actually break. And so what happens when it expands is that you get these frost heaves, and then when that starts to melt, all of a sudden it starts to contract as you get that thawing. And so what happens is that you don't get as much support, and then the roads can start getting these little cracks right here. And then as cars run over them, they can actually tear up some of the pavement. So I don't want to go too much further into it than what I've already talked about, but just know that that could be an issue heading into next week. Something else that we're going to be talking about, though, going into the next few days, possibility of more snow. Not talking about a major storm. It's not even going to be as bad as what we had on Friday night, but take a look at this right here. By Tuesday, heading into tomorrow afternoon, a weak disturbance is actually going to push through the region from Mount Vernon down to Newark and Lancaster, Circleville. We get in on a quick burst of snow. We're looking at about 11 a.m. till about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And then look at this right here. We start getting some drier air that eats away at the moisture. By 4:30 p.m., we kick the moisture off to the east, and then things eventually dry out as we head into the later half of the day. We're not looking at a lot of precipitation, but I do think a quick dusting to a half inch, maybe even an inch of snowfall could be possible. The reason why is that we're going to be looking at a very high liquid to snowfall ratio. All right, typically for every inch of rain, you get about 10 inches of snowfall. But because the air is so cold and so dry, we're looking at about a 20-to-1 ratio. All right, so some areas could pick up a quick dusting, maybe even a quick inch, depending on if we can get some of those snow bands to set up here tomorrow afternoon. And if it snows heavy enough, long enough, well, that could lead to a quick accumulation. These dark blues on the map are where we could see an inch or more. And then as you head down to Piketon, Chillicothe, obviously much less as we work our way down to the south. Now we have that 10 weather impact for tomorrow. And then eventually as we head towards Thursday, we start kind of climbing closer to 30. But the coldest day of the week by far will be Wednesday as we drop on down to the teens. And that would be the daytime high. Below average temperatures continue. So this blue on the map shows that we're looking at temperatures, high temperatures well below normal for the next 2 weeks. And also things are looking drier than average here from the Ohio Valley all the way out towards parts of Iowa and Minnesota through the next 2 weeks as well. So we're going to be looking at this trend continuing now. As we look at the next 10 days, though, take a look at this, okay? So this yellow line right here represents the temperature. The date is down here, all right? So as we head towards this weekend would be the 18th and the 19th. Eventually what happens is that you warm up to around normal. And then what happens is that we're forecasting another plunge of that cold Arctic air by next week. So this is this week's blast of cold air, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Weekend warm up, and then much colder as we head towards the later half of next week. All right, so just get ready for that. Climatologically speaking, third week of January, coldest week of the year. So this is going to be right on time with what you would typically expect for this time of the year. As we get a look right now at the 7-day forecast, again, still tracking that threat of some snowfall heading into tomorrow. Let's talk about that briefly. So again, heading into the morning, not a whole lot shaking out there. By 11 o'clock from Delaware out to Marysville, we're getting that snowfall, and it's over before you know it. Blink your eye, you miss it, because by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it starts to wind down as we get some drier air starting to nudge into the region. Wednesday, again, still tracking that chill out there. Wind chills in the morning as low as -2, -3, eventually improving a little bit by the afternoon. But man, even by 4 o'clock, only 11 is what it will feel like out there. And then by the weekend, we're tracking another system rolling on in. Believe it or not, with how cold it is, we are actually on the warmer side of things with this. And so this is going to be more wet than white. But on Sunday, as that rain moves on out, we get some wraparound moisture, some cold air moving into the region. The blue on the map shows snow. And what is the date and time? Sunday. All right. So we could be tracking the possibility of maybe a quick light accumulation towards the later half of the weekend. And then as we get a look here at the second half of the weekend, it gets a whole lot colder. And then we start eyeing that round 2 of some cold air heading into next week. That is it this morning for 10 TV Plus. Tune in for Jerry Martz tonight at 4, 5, and 6.